This story revolves around a young girl, Miyo. Despite belonging to an influential family, she has been treated poorly by her family. Treated like a maid by her stepmother and sister, Miyo's entire personality revolves around apologizing for mistakes she never committed. To make things worse, her biological father sends her off to marry a guy who is famously known as a cold person. Abandoned by her own family, Miyo nervously reaches her new residence, expecting the worst from her to be husband. She starts living in that house, scared to be thrown out any instant, but life might not be as cruel on her as she thought it is. An innocent little girl is seen to be crying under a huge cherry blossom tree on a day that would seem bright to anybody, but for Miyo, sunshine and happiness are foreign words. As Miyo sees her past self, she thinks that every minute chance of hope she had for happiness has always been crushed right before her eyes. The circumstances made sure to make her feel she was worthless and would never be useful to anyone. Until, of course, she met that man. A blonde girl, the same age as Miyo, yells at her for making a foul-tasted green tea, asking her to bring her another one. Miyo keeps bowing until she is ordered to leave by the lady sitting behind. The family then discusses how Miyo is clumsy and worthless of being called a member of the samurai family and should be thrown out. Kanoko, the mother, talks to her daughter, Kaya, insulting Miyo's mother. Shinichi, the head of the samurai family, gets into an argument with Kanoko, while Miyo overhears her father and stepmother throwing insults at her dead mother. Miyo is cleaning out the garden after hearing the maids talk about the samurai daughters reaching the age of marriage, and some visits now could be for that reason. Miyo smiles when Koji appears in the garden, rubbing the back of his head while sharing how he used the excuse of attending the head of family meeting between their fathers to see her. Koji shares milk caramel candy with Miyo as the two sit, and he talks about always wanting to be the strength for Miyo and do everything to keep her smiling. An already grateful Miyo smiles at this. Miyo cleans the dinner table of her dear family like a maid as the parents spoil her sister Kaya, allowing her to buy a bunch of new kimonos just for school. As Miyo takes her leave, her dad stops her and asks her to be around the day after tomorrow, as if she is ever allowed to leave her house freely. Kaya mocks Miyo the next day after her face gets dirty with cleaning, breaking the poor girl a little more than the damage she carries. Later, Koji walks in wearing Western attire and looks sadly at Miyo cleaning the surroundings of the house. Koji takes his leave hurriedly after handing some sweets to Miyo as he needs to talk to her father. Miyo is bewildered at the situation when she is suddenly called by her father. She cleans herself up and rushes there in tiny little hope of receiving a marriage proposal from Koji. Of course, there's a marriage proposal from Koji, but for Kaya. Yet again, her hopes are crushed, but her father does not stop there. He announces he is marrying Miyo in the Kudo family to Kyoka Kudo. Koji, who's been avoiding eye contact this whole time, is surprised at this mention, while the two women belittle Miyo for getting a big shot by marrying into that family. Miyo stands in the rain pouring outside. The cloudy weather matches the condition of her heart as she looks at the cut-off cherry tree of her mother she used to come to for peace of mind. Koji looks at her from afar, recalling how he made a deal with his father to marry Kaya so they can have Miyo marry Miyo to Kazushi and their family and have her leave the house. She is indeed leaving the house as ordered by her father, but for marriage to another family. Koji tries to apologize to Miyo, but she does not seem to be resenting him at all. Of course, she is used to disappointment, and Koji has already done a lot for her. So considering it another event of her bad luck, she turns to leave in hopes of getting happiness where she marries. Koji tries to tell her he wanted to be the one to make her happy, but Kaya interrupts him, so Miyo expresses gratitude for his kindness so far and takes her leave. The head maid comes to Miyo and feels sad, noticing how she only has 2 clothes as the stuff she is packing for her leave. She hands Miyo the kimono her father sent for the next day and some lunch to eat for the journey and leaves after wishing well upon her. The next day, Miyo walks out of her house as she finally lost the house that had the possibility of being called her home once. She recalls the vague and small number of happy memories she ever had with her mother before she died. But even before she could get over the death of her mother, her father married another woman and brought a cruel stepmother into her life. Of course, if the mother is not a nice lady, her daughter would not treat her stepsister right either. As Kaya used to be pampered by her parents, Miyo used to be scolded and shut out from even seeing them happy. To make it worse, all the memories of her mother, including the lovely cherry tree, were cut down from her life, leaving nothing but emptiness for her. Her whole journey goes through the thoughts of her childhood till she finally reaches the isolated region where the head of the Kudo family lives. Miyo introduces herself to the old lady Yuri, who serves as a servant to the Kudos. Miyo is then taken to Kyoka. She bows as his back faces her until she is asked by Yuri to lift her head. As soon as Kyoka turns to face Miyo, her eyes widened as his presence felt like a flower blooming from the snowy land, moving her still life one step forward into spring after years of freezing winter. Kyoka introduces himself and coldly tells Miyo to obey his orders to the extent that she should die if he orders her to. Much to his surprise, Miyo does not react in shock and responds in the affirmative. She bows again, leaving the guy confused. Yuri politely requests Miyo to not judge Kyoka by the rumors about him, as he is a kind man. She leaves after showing Miyo her room. Miyo lies on her bed, and the good quality of the sheets is enough for her to consider him kind, since her father did not provide her with that. She secretly was even ready to get thrown out of his house right away. Miyo thinks it must be because he thinks she has supernatural powers like the rest of her family. Back when she was a kid, her father had tried to test if Kaya and Miyo had spirit sight ability, and when he released a spirit, grotesquerie, Kaya could see it moving around and freaked out while Miyo could not decipher anything. Her father was extremely happy with Kaya, and this became another reason for shutting Miyo out and treating Kaya as the star of the family. Miyo wakes up from this nightmare that she sadly has lived. As a habit, Miyo goes to the kitchen and prepares breakfast, impressing Yuri, who jokes about finally getting some help since she's getting old now. Kyoka is served with breakfast by Yuri, who does not forget to give credit to the special chef of the day. Kyoka calls Miyo to sit near him, which surprises her, but soon the surprise turns to shock when Kyoka asks her to taste the food on suspicion of her poisoning his food. Before Miyo could comprehend this accusation, Kyoka takes her delayed response as hesitation and leaves, telling her to try better. Miyo feels disappointed in herself for being a failure, even with good intentions, as Yuri runs behind the cold exit of Kyoka. Being the leader of the special anti-grotesquerie unit, Kyoka welcomes all the members and advises them to enhance their supernatural abilities to be in their best form. His partner teaches the unit about the presence of grotesqueries in the country since ancient times and different skills that can be learned to defeat them. Kyoka hears two youngsters murmuring about the training being useless if they don't even find many grotesqueries around anymore. He throws an attack from his ability, surprising everyone, and proceeds to mention that they have not ceased to exist yet, so negligence and ignorance like that could cause serious damage. The partner of the commander pops up in his office with a file, joking about his irritated mood and deeming another fiancée left him, but as he sees him extra annoyed, he takes his leave in the same lively mood as before. Kyoka sighs, thinking of Yuri's words before he took his leave, mentioning how he should not have doubted Miyo like that. Kyoka finds it weird that Yuri is so confident about Miyo this early that she finds her a good match for him. Kyoka decides to concentrate on his work, but Yuri defending Miyo remains a thought at the back of his head. Miyo, on the other hand, is scared that if Kyoka is actually like it is rumored, then she might have to leave. Koji is welcome to stay in the samurai household, where he finds Kaya trying to move some stuff into the storeroom, also known formally as Miyo Room. Koji offers help and takes the things to that room, thinking of Miyo and the possibility of her being thrown out of the Kudo household. Kyoka returns to find Miyo bowing and apologizing for overstepping her boundaries and making him feel suspicious. She tells him she would not intervene in cooking again. Seeing her this apologetic, Kyoka mentions he just did not feel comfortable eating food made by a stranger, making her apologize again. Kyoka finds it weird that she is not having dinner at all, and finds it even weirder that she keeps bowing and apologizing to it, as if these two are natural responses every time she is talked to. Miyo feels even more dejected when Kyoka denies her offer of heating the bath for him, as he can do it faster, using his supernatural abilities. This makes her feel insecure and useless. As Miyo cleans up the kitchen, Kyoka stands outside the closed doors and apologizes to her for rejecting her breakfast. He gives her the responsibility for breakfast the next morning and even leaves hot water for her to be bathed. These small gestures are enough for Miyo to feel better, since she has never even gotten the tiniest bit of support from her father. A memory of little Miyo calling out to her stepmother for throwing away memories of her mother. The woman threw her in a locked room after insulting her for daring to talk back, and Miyo's last bit of confidence shattered upon seeing her father observe all this and stay silent. She wakes up from another nightmare and decides to put a good amount of effort into the breakfast. While getting ready, she notices her ragged kimono tearing from the sleeves. Miyo serves breakfast in hopes of Kyoka liking it, and feels relief when he finishes the soup without insulting her and praising it. Tears start falling from her eyes without even her own realization, while Kyoka is shocked that she never even got this much praise to cry over it. Finding her actions weird for someone from an influential family, Kyoka asks Yuri to discreetly keep an eye on the girl while he looks into the samurai family. Yuri is glad that whatever way, Kyoka is finding interest in Miyo, as with her age-long experience, she already knows she is the best match for her young master. Kyoka secretly hopes that no bad news comes out from the samurai family. Koji's father screams at Shinichi for breaking his promise of marrying Miyo, who carries the Yuzaba blood, into the Tatsushi family, while Shinichi expresses ignorance to any such pact, calling Miyo none of their business. Miyo feels happy seeing Kyoka finish the dinner she made. He asks what she does during the day since housework leaves too much free time for her. She tells him she passes her time by reading magazines and sewing stuff. Kyoka then tells her he needs to go to the town the coming weekend, but before Miyo could talk about getting his stuff ready for it, he tells her they are going together. Miyo hesitates since she thinks she will be a nuisance for Kyoka, but he assures her that he is personally inviting her. He tells her to wear the same kimono she wore when she came to his house and takes his leave. Miyo brushes her hair in front of the covered mirror with her broken comb when Yuri enters her room. She uncovers the mirror for Miyo, not realizing that it is her self-consciousness that makes her not want to see her own face. Yuri brought her makeup box, assuming Miyo would look pretty if she tries makeup, and she was not wrong with her assumption. Miyo looks absolutely breathtaking after Yuri helps her get ready. She runs to Kyoka as he calls her to leave, but Kyoka himself halts for a moment after taking in her appearance. She smiles when he apologizes for rushing her instead of scolding her for making him wait. During the ride, Kyoka tells her they will go to town after he parks his car at their workplace. She gets a bit nervous, but he ensures her it will not take any time. Before they could leave after parking, Goto appears confused upon seeing his commander there on a day off. He then gets a little too excited upon seeing a female company with his cold commander, but is told off, so he runs away. During the walk in town, Miyo gets too invested upon seeing the lively surroundings that she gets back into reality after Kyoka calls her. Kyoka pats her head and tells her not to worry and enjoy herself. He asks if she wants anything but with the childhood she had. Miyo has forgotten what it is like to have needs and wishes. Kyoka tells her to accompany his shopping, then making her happily comply. Miyo wonders why people call him rude and merciless when he is this kind and silently follows him. Koji's father argues with Shinichi about breaking their deal, while the heartless father tells him he found the Kudo family marriage proposal more intriguing. Tatsuishi turns out to be wanting to have Miyo in their family just because she has the Yusaba blood from her mother. Even though she lacks supernatural abilities, she might have children with those abilities. Shinichi assures him that Miyo is practically dead to them now, so once the Kudos throw her out for not having any abilities, he can marry her into his family. Tatsuishi worries that the Kudos might get exceptionally stronger if she marries there and has children with supernatural powers of Yuzaba blood. Kaya wonders why Tatsuishi came to talk to her father when a maid mentions Miyo being mentioned there. Kaya gets infuriated at her mention when Koji appears asking her to not raise her voice like that. He then changes the flow of the conversation by telling her she should go shopping with him since a new store opened up. Kaya wonders if Koji still has feelings for Miyo and leaves annoyed. Kyoka takes Miyo to their usual kimono shop, where the owner welcomes them warmly and shows surprise at Kyoka bringing a woman there for the first time. Miyo looks around while the woman hands Kyoka a box he asked for, and then tells her to suggest some clothes that would suit Miyo. The woman suggests some colors while Kyoka personally selects a pink one and asks her to get all those sewn. He recalls Yuri mentioning Miyo mending her old worn-out clothes secretly, and he also noticed her wearing old ragged clothes as if from a poor family. The woman encourages Kyoka to not let go of Miyo, since the way he is getting her this stuff means she holds some importance for him, and maybe one day he would not have to hesitate before buying her stuff. Kyoka takes her to a sweets shop where she praises what she got, but he reckons otherwise seeing her blank expression. He expresses that he wants to see her smile since she does not do that much. The sudden words make Miyo call him strange, to which she apologizes right away, but he tells her to feel free in expressing herself since they are supposed to get married. Miyo gets into troubled thoughts at hearing him mention marriage, as she feels she will be rejected for not having any supernatural abilities. She wants to tell him that, but also wants to live with him in this fantasy a little longer, so decides to not say it right now. Kyoka places the box he previously got from the shop owner in Miyo's room door. Yuri appears from behind, surprising him since he thought she left. He feels awkward while Yuri seems the happiest. As to her, this means Kyoka is ready to marry her. She also mentions seeing her use a half-broken comb. Kyoka waves her off, saying she is stretching it too far. Miyo walks to her room after a shower and is surprised to see the comb in the box. She rushes to Kyoka, telling her she cannot accept such an expensive gift, while Kyoka tells her to keep it. Kyoka turns to her to tell her not to argue when words no longer come out of his mouth, as he finally gets to see Miyo passing him a genuine smile. At his office, the detective narrates all the checks he ran on the samurai family, making Kyoka really sad at seeing such a prominent family being so petty. He understands why Kanoko would be rude to her stepdaughter, but Shinichi being so heartless sounds borderline pathetic. Kanoko and Shinichi used to be lovers, but he was forced to marry Sumi, Miyo's mother, hence Kanoko hated her. The person also adds that Miyo does not have any supernatural abilities, so treatment towards her turned even worse. Kyoka feels bad for Miyo. The detective adds that Sumi belonged to the Yusuba family, shocking Kyoka, since they are known to have exceptional supernatural abilities to interfere with human minds. As Kyoka walks back, he senses something in the atmosphere, but it takes him one attack to kill all the Shikigamis sent to attack him. He wonders why anyone would attack him. Miyo sees her mother before her favorite cherry blossoms tree, running towards her father, begging him to not abandon their daughter just because she does not seem to have any supernatural abilities. He coldly tells her he would have been able to love Miyo if she had any powers, leaving a desperate Sumi behind. Sumi apologizes to Miyo for not being able to help her anymore, since she does not have much time. She ensures her that she is strong enough to survive, and one day things will be better for her. Miyo wakes up with a jolt upon seeing such a dream. Miyo goes to Yuri, asking her what she could do as a return gift for Kyoka, making Yuri so excited that she leaves all her errands to run and find something Miyo could do. Miyo shares she does not have much budget, but Yuri tells her she can make something for Kyoka instead of buying it. She pulls out a book on handicraft from where Miyo chooses to make him a braided cord for his hair. Yuri ensures her that Kyoka will like whatever she gifts him. Before Kyoka can leave, Miyo tells him she is going to the market with Yuri for a while to buy some stuff. Kyoka offers to go with her if she can wait a few days, but she ensures him she can manage herself. He tells her to be careful and leaves after handing her an amulet to keep at all times. Miyo smiles at the kind gestures of Kyoka. Koji is seen to be in deep thoughts when his older brother appears, mocking him for dealing with a handful Kaya. Koji comments, it is all his fault for being unserious that Koji has to face this stuff. His brother chokes his throat with his power and leaves after making fun of him. Miyo is amazed by the variety of accessories she can buy from. She chooses purple and yellow threads and leaves happily when Yuri tells her to wait outside a shop while she buys some salt for the house. This idea does not go well when Kaya and Koji suddenly appear there, and Kaya starts bullying Miyo for wandering around in that ragged kimono she used to wear when she was with them. Miyo's smile fades as Kaya keeps assuming she was thrown out of the Kudo's house since she does not deserve to be there. Miyo feels powerless, while Kaya keeps belittling her. On the other hand, Kyoka reaches the samurai household and tells them that he wants to make their marriage agreement official. This surprises the couple, but Kyoka goes on that he'd like to discuss the relation that they are going to have as families, since powerful families like theirs use marriage as means of mutual interests. He tells them he is not willing to reciprocate any of their interests due to what they did to Miyo. He tells them he will cut ties with them after marriage if they do not sincerely apologize to Miyo. Koji tried to take away, but she keeps saying nonsense to Miyo till Yuri finally appears back. Kaya mocks Miyo in front of Yuri, asking if they both are acquaintances and working for Kyoka. Yuri tells her Miyo is very respected as she is about to marry Kyoka. Kaya is surprised that Miyo is not abandoned yet, while Yuri takes Miyo and leaves. As they reach home, Miyo seems mindless as she tells Yuri she will be resting in her. Miyo walks to her room as her mind feels with insecurities of not being worthy of Kyoka. Shinichi tells Kyoka he needs time to think of it. Kyoka leaves after telling him he will not wait much longer. As Kyoka is leaving, an annoyed Kaya enters her house, but her eyes widen upon seeing such a handsome man walking past her. As Kyoka reaches back, he finds Miyo acting very weird. Later, Yuri tells him all the details about Miyo being terrified of her sister. Kyoka stands outside her door and tells Miyo that he will always be there to listen if she ever wants to open up. Miyo sits in the corner of her dark room, but sometime later gets up to create the braided cord for Kyoka, while Kyoka writes out a letter in his own room thinking about Yuri's words. Yuri told him that only showing love can heal Miyo. He only needs to show simple affectionate behavior towards her, and communicate with her to make her feel she is cherished and needed. Miyo finally looks at the cord she made, but wonders how to give it to him. Yuri knocks on her door, telling her she has a guest, which is really surprising for Miyo. Miyo cannot contain her surprise upon seeing Hana on the door. She used to be a maid in her house when she was a child and defended her when she was locked in a dark room by Kanoko. As the two catch up, Hana expresses how she always wanted to see Miyo genuinely happy and asks if she is happy now. Miyo cannot hold her emotions any longer and expresses to Hana how she does not deserve to be Kyoka's wife without being any special. Hana smiles at her and tells her that she was able to reach Miyo just because Kyoka wrote her a letter. It was shocking for Hana as well, but it shows how much Miyo matters to Kyoka. Miyo starts crying for making so many assumptions about Kyoka that he will abandon her while he knew it all this while. Hana encourages her to express herself in front of Kyoka. Grateful to Hana, Miyo rushes to Kyoka holding the cord in her hands tightly. She rants it all out about how she isn't valued in her own house and does not carry any special skill, and she accepts her fault for not sharing it beforehand. She bows, telling him she will accept any punishment he decides for her, but she would like to gift him the braided cord as a gift for being so kind to her and for gifting that comb. Kyoka listens to everything and puts his newspaper down to move closer to Miyo. He hugs Miyo, sharing he is going to make their engagement official. After the two share they both want the marriage, Kyoka asks Miyo to tie his hair with that cord and expresses his liking towards it. Miyo expresses gratitude to Hana, knowing she would not have come out of her room if it was not for her. As she bids her a goodbye, Kyoka ensures her she can meet Hana whenever she wants. Miyo feels happy and content after a long time. Tatsushi, who's been stalking Miyo, cannot digest the fact that she is happy with Kyoka. Wanting her in the possession of his family, he thinks of taking some action immediately.